Meet your patients where they're at. Doesn't matter what scope of practice you're in. If you work in healthcare and you work with patients, I don't care if it's sales, I don't care if you're a clinician on the floor, I don't care if you do home visits, doesn't matter. You have to learn to meet your patients where they're at. I had a very angry patient way back. I was young in the nursing home industry for sales. I had done care for a while. And I had a 30 some odd year gentleman who had been on the baseball field with his son prior, and son was 5. And he got bit by a mosquito, contracted West Nile, caused a ton of neurological disorders, and ended up, he lost all capacity. He was very angry. I was the first one who met him where he was at, and so he did great with me. But I remember walking into the facility one day and his light was on, and I just stared, and I said, "How long has that light been on?" And everyone stared at me. And then someone finally broke the silence and said, "He's very angry, and he's mean, and he's ugly, and he says a lot of nasty things." And I said, "Walk with me." We walked down to the room. I went into the room, and I looked at him. I said, "I need you to do me a favor." I said, "It's going to be one of the hardest things you've ever had to do, but I need you to tell all of these caregivers your story." Fast forward, by the time he was finished, there was not a dry eye in the room, and they had a clear understanding of what we were dealing with. You are going to have patients that are going to take things out on you that you don't deserve, but you're there. It, if they get a cancer diagnosis, that is the biggest thing in their life. It affects every single thing. The dreams, the hopes, everything that they had planned becomes a maybe and not a definite. If they get MS and they're used to being this active person, and all of a sudden they can't do anything for themselves and they have to rely on someone else, and then they end up going into a care home because no one else can take care of them, or they don't want anyone to take care of them. You have to meet your patients where they're at, and that means understanding the story that you're dealing with so that you can relate to them better and not take things so personal. Have a good day.